Hello, my creative friends. I'm Heather North from heatherscreativeblessings.com. Recently, a friend of mine asked if I wouldn't mind stamping out some ink samples for her so she could see them in person and decide which ones she wanted to purchase for herself. So I thought I would turn on the camera and show you the way that I have started ink swatching inks for myself. I started making these swatches because the ink colors don't always match the lids, and I have too many ink sets right now, so having these swatches is helping me just to know which colors I have and use them more often. I'll give you this tip though: when you're doing the direct to paper technique, start with your lighter colors and work to your darker, because they will pick up any wet ink that's still on your grid mat. The first thing I do is the direct to paper technique. So I just take my ink and swipe it across the top of my Whisper White cardstock. I suggest using whatever cardstock you use most often. And then I'm going to take this chevron from the Geobuilders stamp set. It's by Catherine Pooler Design. She made it for the most recent Stamp of Approval collection. And I'm just going to stamp it full on the left side. And then I'm going to stamp off once and then stamp it on the right side. And what this is called second generation stamping. And that way I can see what this color does when you stamp it full on and also when you stamp off. With my lighter colors, I don't stamp off very often, but with my darker colors, I do. Then I write down the name of the ink and who makes it, and if there's any information I might need, like whether it's a hybrid ink, a pigment ink, a dye ink, things like that. Also, if it's a Stampin' Up! Set that's retired, I'll include that information as well. By the way, these ink swatches are 2 1/8 inches by 2 3/4 inches. And now I'm going to work with my ombre ink pads. This actually is 3 ink colors in one. So what I do is I ink up the top 2 colors, moving it up and down just a little bit so that the colors blend where they overlap. And I'm going to stamp it down. Then I'm cleaning it off a little bit, and then I'm going to just ink up the bottom 2 colors, stamp those down. And then I'm going to turn my stamp upside down. You'll see here in a second. I turn it upside down. There we go. Turn it upside down and repeat that process, getting the bottom 2 colors. And what this does is it shows the great range that this ombre ink pad has. Again, it's turned upside down. I had to figure out which way it's upside down, but I will get there. I turned it upside down and do the top 2 colors and then fill in that gap on the left. This is also one of the reasons I chose this particular stamp set, because it has solid images and it's got a graphic kind of circle line image and a floral image, so I can really see what my inks can do, the color range they can get. The stamp set is not available at the moment, but it will be releasing, I believe, later this summer. I'll let you know over on my blog when it does release. If you didn't get this stamp set and don't want to wait for it to come out, you could just use any solid image stamp that you have, and then maybe your favorite image, and stamp those out. This Blackberry Bliss color is a really dark color, and I actually prefer the second and third generation stamping of this to the full-on ink color. So I'm going to swatch it the same way. This is the direct to paper technique along the top. I'm going to just ink it up and stamp it down, and then do my second generation stamping. Then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to stamp it 3 times without re-inking. And this really shows what this particular stamp color can do. Now, if I had my wish, I would get those second and third generation ink colors all on their own, because those are some of my favorite shades of purple. And it's really similar, as you can see up above, to that lilac to grape purple Hero Arts ombre ink. So stamping out all of these different ink colors is really helping me to see what I have and where the gaps are. So this is how I'm going to swatch out all of my pigment and dye inks. But for my distressed inks, I want to see them how I really use them. And for the most part, I use them for techniques: sponging, watercoloring. So for this, I'm just doing the sponging. That really does help show the colors. On the left-hand side, I'm sponging it really dark and layering it up. On the right-hand side, I'm just lightly sponging it, so I've got most of the color off. And this shows me, again, what this ink can do from the darkest to the lightest. And then, even though I don't use it for stamping very often, I am going to stamp it out and to just see what the color is full on. So there you go. Once I have all of my ink pads swatched out, I also want to have my markers. So I have here my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers and some Bristol cardstock. Again, because that's the cardstock I use with this particular marker. Copics, I'd probably pull out my Nina. And then I'm going to punch out with this ticket punch. And then I'm just going to color it, just scribble some of the color on. Now this would be great for your Copics, but for my zigs, I also add water to them, and I wanted to see how it would look with water. So after I turned off the camera, or as I'm editing this, I decided what I need to do is show how it looks full on and how it looks with water. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to scribble the big ticket, but I'm also going to scribble that little ticket. I'm going to spritz the big ticket with some water so that I can see how it moves. And once it dries, I can just use some glue and adhere my little ticket on top of the watered bigger ticket, and I'll have both ways that these markers work. I hope that makes sense. I also wrote the name of the marker on the back and the number on the front. I'll probably do both on the back. Now you see that little sneak peek picture there? Oops, that wasn't supposed to be in the camera. That is for Stamp Nation. I'm actually going to show how I use these ink swatches to go along with the mood boards. Right now, Stamp Nation is having their Inspiration Nation event, and Maureen has created some awesome mood boards to inspire us. So I'll have an exclusive video over there. If you are a Stamp Nation member, go check it out. The way I'm going to store these little marker swatches is just to punch a hole in it. I'll use my Crocodile, but you can use any small hole punch, and run it through a key ring. That way I can see it quickly at a glance, but I can also pull them apart if I want to see how they work. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd like that too. Talk to you later. Bye.